Hi everyone, this is E Speaks Freely. Yesterday you may have seen that I did a report on Piers Corbyn's emergency demonstration against digital ID. At the time, the petition against digital ID had reached about 1 million signatures, and now, just a day on, it has nearly reached now 2 million. So today I've come out in Alexandra Palace to try and find out what the average person on the street thinks, knows about digital ID and whether or not they will comply. So what have you heard about digital ID so far?
So I just saw it on my phone a couple of days ago. Apparently there's like a digital system and all the UK residents will have like an ID card. I don't know if you're going to have a specific number or something like that, but it sounds like that.
So I've heard that the digital ID that they're trying to roll out is basically your way of right to work, and they're going to use like your normal details, but also they're going to try to use DNA with it as well. Yeah.
DNA?
I've heard DNA. Yeah.
Where'd you hear that from?
It's taken away like our freedom. I have seen like quite a few petitions against it.
Yeah.
I'm not too like knowledgeable myself, but I've heard a bit about it and like the negative effects it's kind of going to have on just us as a population.
Or the physical card, I think, is going to gone, and whenever you need to show your ID, you need to pull up your digital card and you can check on your phone, which is quite convenient.
I think it's a bit pointless, because we've already got national insurance numbers, we've got passports that can prove that we're from England or not. So another piece of ID is useless, and also the fact that it's digital means that it's going to be like, you're going to have security breaches that could happen, and it's happened in Turkey before where they've had something exactly the same, which is like a digital ID, and there was a big breach that happened and people were doing fraud underneath random people's names. So I just think it's useless. I think it's pointless, and I think the government should be putting their attention in other places.
But I do think it's going to bring a lot of troubles though, because I was an international student, I'm working now, and it's annoying because all our visa now is like online, so I already have sort of the digital ID already, and it brings loads of trouble whenever I leave UK and to UK. The system is just not working yet, so I don't know if it's when they come out for the actual citizens, how are they going to cope with that?
They say that it's to deal with obviously the levels of immigration and making sure that they can monitor who's in this country legally and who's not. But do you think that that is a disguise, and do you think there's an ulterior motive?
100%. In my opinion, there's always an ulterior motive, because they're trying to cover up for something that they're doing wrong, or something that obviously the public is going to disagree with because they've lied about it.
Control.
Yeah.
Control. It's just control, and I think it's ridiculous. We have a passport, we have national insurance numbers, which is literally for your job. We don't need anything else.
You know, with like the whole trans rights, they're really trying to blame trans people for everything they can to try and distract from the things that actually matter.
Well, the worry about this is that it's kind of similar to when China entered into a social credit system and millions of bank accounts were shut down overnight because they wouldn't comply with the regime, which is kind of a similar worry to what people think is going to happen here, with people getting arrested for things that they're tweeting online. Right. People are worried that if the establishment doesn't like what they stand for politically, they will be able to shut off your bank, or if you have exceeded your carbon footprint, if you have an electric vehicle, they can shut off your car. If that is the case, would you consider that to be an abuse of power?
Yeah, I mean, there's risk all the time. I am from China, actually.
100%. That is an abuse of power. I think if we're going to have things like freedom of speech in our country, then we should have it for everything, and it shouldn't be, well, if I don't specifically like this kind of speech, that's what's going to be sanctioned.
But I think the case different from here is because in China we always have a physical ID as well. Yeah. So I think even your digital one doesn't work, you will have a physical one, and everyone registers on that number, and if you need to take a train, open a bank account, everything counts at that number. Yeah. So everything about your information is online, and you can check it national-wise. But I don't think it's the case in UK yet. Okay. You only have like a driving lesson, but there's nothing you can check online yet.
And do you think we have free speech in this country at the moment?
Not at all. Not at all. I don't think so. I think we have some sort of ideology where everyone thinks that we do, but I think you can see by the people that are getting arrested and the people that are getting into trouble if we do or do not.
I think not everybody feels safe to upload everything about my personal information, because privacy is quite important here, isn't it? And not everyone like oh, I would like to share everything. So I think there's risk for sure, because there's hackers, you can attack the system. Like Heathrow Airport is shut because of the system didn't work.
They're just trying to blame the minorities so the public doesn't look at them as like authority figures.
But I do hope it can work in the future. It will be way easier, but you should just show your phone instead of, oh, I forgot my ID, I can't buy the alcohol from the shop.
because they're the ones in power, and I think once the public starts to actually get onto what they're doing, everything's going to fall apart. Like, that's the whole democracy. Like, everything's just going to go to shit, in my opinion.
Do you think that a digital ID system is something that we would more expect to see in China, like we already have?
I think it's different from here because everyone already have an ID card, and this card information is online everywhere. For example, if I check in the hotel, I tap my ID card and all your information is there already, and they will register. If you buy a train ticket, you have to tap in your ID card to get in the train station. So in a way, I feel like even the card is not digital yet, but the way you're using the the card is already digital. Does that make sense? Yeah. So everywhere pretty much.
So if digital ID is successful, what do you think it's going to look like in about 10 years' time?
In 10 years' time, it just seems like people are going to be a lot more worried and scared about what they can and cannot do and what they can and cannot say, which is kind of like how it's turning the position that is kind of going in right now.
And if you want to play a game, and you have to prove you're 18 already, so you need to put in your ID number. If you want to open a bank account, you need to have your ID card with you to prove, oh, this is myself. And every family, they register in like a small unit, and you're registered as a family unit, and you have your own ID card. So I guess it's quite different from UK. And if UK want to do the same thing or similar things in the future, there's a lot of effort to do. But I do think it's worth it, I guess.
It seems quite dystopian.
It's more efficient in a way. It saves a lot of time. Like, I mean, make all the cards, and if I lose, I have to post it back and stuff like that. It saves a lot of work, and I do think it's more convenient. And because in China everything is pretty much online now, and it is very convenient. Everything's on your phone, and it's quite good.
What do you think life is going to be like for those that refuse to comply?
Well, I think there'll be a lot of propaganda and stuff to say that and make them seem like social outcasts and different from everyone else, and they will suffer in other ways, like financially because of their jobs and whatnot, and you will see it in like their class and whatnot.
If you outright refuse to have digital ID, what can that look like for someone?
I don't have the problem yet, but I guess if you refuse to have it, then you just lose all the convenient stuff.
I think their government is probably gonna try and turn them into criminals, much like the protesters are at the moment. They're literally arresting old people for fighting against killing children. So I think they're just going to make them into criminals.
Everywhere you pretty much need your ID. I know it's not the case here. I guess if you refuse to use it here, it's probably not going to bother you a lot because it's not everything's digital. People still using cash.
Because that is what they do. They're going to try and put them into prison. They're going to try and silence them so their voice is the loudest.
Yeah. Do you think that the people who refuse the digital ID will be considered sort of like social outcasts and exiles?
Absolutely, yeah. They're just going to fall into the minority category of, they're just protesting. Like, they're just here to argue. They're not listening to what they're actually trying to fight for.
We don't actually have a digital card thing yet. It's just everything, your information that you can check online. But about the card, it actually is still physical. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Obviously, the petition now is, I think it's at 1.9 million last time I checked.
Okay.
Do you think that if enough people resist it, they will reverse their decision?
I hope so. I think if enough of us stand up, we're going to take away their choice, like they're trying to take away ours.
Yeah, absolutely.
In my opinion.
And will you comply with digital ID?
Well, if it's a thing where I can opt into and opt out of, I would definitely opt out of it.
Yeah. And if, but obviously it seems like it's going to be mandatory.
Yeah.
And it seems that while it won't be a direct crime to refuse it, it will be cutting off of vital services. And people seem to be of the mindset that it's going to be crap for the first little while, but eventually, if we keep resisting and make it inconvenient for them, then they will have to reverse it. Would you be willing to
protest in that way? Of course. Yeah, of course. And that's a kind of protesting. So yeah. I think because I don't agree with it. So yeah, of course.
I don't know if work with immigrants or international students, because what I read so far is for UK citizens.
Right.
So hopefully, if I can have one, that'll be great. I don't have to carry my ID all the time.
I'm a bit of a resistor, so I'll probably try and resist for a bit, but I know it's kind of, you have to do what is laid out, because it's the way society is, and it worries me because we all kind of have to fall into this bracket of what they want us to do, and it's worrying.
Okay, so we've had a couple of people that are completely for the digital ID system and a couple of people that are dead against, and read between the lines and see it for what I think it is, which is a power grab and another attempt to control and surveil the mass population. So let me know what you guys think in the comments.